Your 3 top players are white dudes? Really? This ain't golf. This ain't baseball. Hell, it ain't even soccer. What y'all think this is? Basketball. When have you seen your 3 most prominent players on a basketball team all be white? And that takes you to the promised land. Somebody got to say it, so I'm saying it. You ain't going anywhere being led by 3 white dudes in today's generation of basketball. I'm letting you know right now, it ain't happening.
As I was watching this live on Wednesday afternoon, I thought about the irony of what Stephen A. Smith was saying. This is the same dude that has turned ESPN into a modernized version of BET. Turn on First Take and take a shot every time you see a white dude. You can cure your alcoholism after 1 2-hour episode. Instead of hiring people who actually know what the hell they're talking about, and I'm talking about people of all races, instead of hiring people who know what they're talking about, in the interest of diversity, Stephen A. Smith features David the Junior Doofus when he needs expertise on the NBA, since, Stephen A. Smith is no longer an expert because he doesn't have the time to actually watch the league. When he needs an expert opinion on the NBA, Stevie invites Shanae Agwu-Mike on the show. The same Shanae Agwu-Mike who recently claimed that A.J. Wilson is on the same level as Tom Brady. I would not put A.J. Wilson on the same level as Carol Brady. Hell, the level of skill in the WNBA dump, it is so substandard, odds makers, they would have the Brady bunch as double-digit favorites against the unknown all-stars in the WNBA dump. Earlier this week, LeBron James announced that he was filing for divorce from the Los Angeles Lakers. The divorce was amicable. Matter of fact, the Lakers already had a collection of mistresses on the side. As soon as the Burger King filed for divorce, the Lakers went public with their new collection of booze. They're assembling a roster that maximizes the strengths and disguises the weaknesses of Luka Doncic. They're assembling a roster that complements their star player. The Lakers are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're building around their young star. But according to Stephen A. Smith, the Lakers are assembling a roster that emulates his roster of unknowns on Woke Take. According to Stevie, the Lakers are putting together a team that lacks diversity. Before we go any further, I wanted to give you guys an update on what happened yesterday. Had a lot of you guys reach out to me, and I appreciate your concern. Nothing is wrong. Uncle KC is okay. My family is okay. Everyone happy and healthy. Yesterday morning, my dad was fixing a leak in my sprinkler system in the front yard. Now, he is an expert. His company has been installing and repairing sprinkler systems for as long as I have been alive. Long story short, Dad cut through my fiber with his shovel, leaving Uncle KC with no way to upload. So that's why I was abruptly missing throughout the day yesterday. There was no family emergency, just a well-intended father helping his son while accidentally inconveniencing him at the same time. As I was watching Stephen A. Smith Wednesday afternoon talking about the new and improved white Lakers, I understood what he was saying from a basketball perspective, and in his defense, he was mostly talking about basketball. I know people have dug through the history of the NBA to find majority white teams who have won championships, but the truth is, in this modern era of the NBA, there hasn't been a championship team, at least to my knowledge, that consisted mostly of white star players. And to me, this roster in Los Angeles is not a championship roster. And it's not because they lack melanin. You can't have two-star players who are allergic to playing defense. It just doesn't work. So, from a basketball perspective, I understood what Stephen A. Smith was saying. But as soon as he said it, I knew he was in trouble. Somebody's gotta say it. Where are the brothers? Where is the melanin? This ain't golf. This is basketball. You can't win in basketball without the brothers. Just look at the WNBA. You don't see teams winning the golden toilet without their best players being brothers. It is abundantly clear what Stephen A. Smith is doing here, because it's the same thing he has been doing for years. Remember years ago when I used to refer to Stephen A. Smith as a chameleon or the world's highest paid parrot? Every January on ESPN, Stevie is shedding Visine tears over black head coaches being rejected in the NFL. Why can't the brothers coach the brothers? Whatever happened to diversity? The Dolphins just fired, have Black Mikey, replaced him with the white man, lacking melanin. Everywhere you look, everywhere this damn league, they're lacking high levels of diversity. When he is on woke takes surrounded by his colleagues at BET, Stevie delivers passionate sermons on mythical racism. When he's on News Nation with Chris Cuomo, hey, it's me, Chrissy C. When he is speaking with William O'Reilly, or as Stephen A. prefers to call him, my mentor Bill. He is criticizing doofus Democrats. He's warning New Yorkers about Zorro Mamdani. And speaking of Zorro, there was a clip circulating last week of Stephen A. Smith criticizing Zorro Mamdani and communism, or as Zorro prefers to call it, Islamism disguised as democratic socialism. I choose to accurately describe it as bullshit. But in the clip, Stephen A. Smith is explaining why communism does not work and will not work in America. As expected, normal people agreed with him, and doofus Democrats, which is the party the majority of the black community supports, Stephen A. Smith was demonized by his own community, just like he was demonized earlier this year, or maybe it was last year, when he responded to criticism from Jamel Hill and Carrie the Champion of Failure. I've noticed a trend anytime Stephen A. Smith is criticized by his own community. Once he feels the pressure, he atones for his sins with an act of contrition. In this case, it's criticizing the Lakers for paying white dudes, criticizing the Lakers for building a team without the brothers. The question is, what is ESPN going to do about it? How will ESPN respond? You got to remember, ESPN is allergic to negative publicity. They do not like controversy. If Adam Schefter complained about the NFL having too many black quarterbacks, he would be fired immediately. Stephen A. Smith was suspended for a week a few years ago because he said Shohei Ohtani couldn't be the face of Major League Baseball because he doesn't speak English. I would imagine ESPN is furious with his ridiculous remarks about the Lakers. I would imagine they've already heard from Adam Silver, who's already disgruntled and maybe even disgusted with ESPN's substandard coverage of his league. But Uncle KC, Stephen A. Smith didn't say this on ESPN. He was speaking on his own platform. Does not matter. I don't care if he's on Fox News, News Nation. I don't care if he's with the Yentas on The View cranking the whoopee cushion's leg so she can release her boodle breeze. Wherever he is, Stephen A. Smith is representing ESPN. What he said reflects poorly on the network. And to make matters worse, they can't even monetize the controversy because it didn't happen on their platform. Look, I don't think Stephen A. Smith is racist. Who do you think made him a millionaire? Who's paying him $20 million a year? The white executives at ESPN. Who gave him a platform at SiriusXM? Chris Russo, the white man. Who welcomed him into political media? Who gave him his start? Chris Cuomo, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly. White men. I don't think Stephen A. Smith is racist. I think he's performative. I think he's trying to please everyone. And when you're trying to please everyone, you please no one. He's trying to fit in with conservatives. He's trying to ingratiate himself with a white audience. And at the same time, he's trying not to neglect the audience he refers to as the brothers. So the real question is, who is the real Stephen A. Smith? No one knows. To be honest with you, I don't think Stephen A. Smith knows who Stephen A. Smith is. When you're not comfortable with who you are, when you lack confidence in your beliefs, you have a tendency to adapt to your surroundings. The Stephen A. Smith I see on Joe Budden or Cam Newton, he is completely different than the Stephen A. I see on Sean Hannity. Why? It doesn't make sense. You know, the other day, my wife was watching one of her Bravo shows. It was either Real Housewives Who Used to Be Husbands or Summer Camp. But whatever the show was, there's a young black woman on the show, and she is on the phone with her mother. She's telling her mom about the drama, or as women call it, I'm spilling the tea. I don't spill tea. I drink tea. But anyway, the young woman is telling her mother about the scripted storyline, and the mother starts lecturing her daughter. Why are you talking about black business with white people? You don't tell white people black business. There seem to be these expectations in the black community as to how you're supposed to behave in front of outsiders, for lack of a better word. And if you fail to meet those expectations, you're ostracized. How many times has Stephen A. Smith been accused of not being black enough or selling out to the white man? If I disagree with Sean Hannity, I don't question his whiteness. I question his sanity. I've just never understood it, and I guarantee you, if you ask Stephen A. Smith about his harshest critics, he would not say conservative media. He wouldn't say doofus Democrats. My guess is he would admit that his harshest critics are in his own community. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.